Ladies and gentlemen, your mind is the enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. Most of you are walking around with a loaded gun pointed at your own head, and you don't even realize it. That gun is your mind. It whispers doubts, fears, and excuses, feeding you poison every single day. It tells you that you're not good enough, that success is for someone else, that taking risks is dangerous. It's a liar. It's the enemy. And until you put a leash on that pathetic, weak, self-sabotaging voice in your head, you will remain exactly where you are, stuck, lost, and powerless. Winners, real winners, know that the biggest battle is fought in the 6 inches between their ears. This is where wars are won or lost before they even begin. Every titan, every legend, every person who has ever built an empire has had to declare war on their own mind. And let me tell you something. If you don't learn to control your mind, it will control you. It will feed you hesitation, it will smother your potential, and it will bury you under a mountain of excuses. You see, the problem isn't the economy. It's not your background. It's not your circumstances. The problem is that you let your mind tell you that those things matter. You let your mind convince you that you have limits. That's the biggest lie of them all. There are no limits. The only prison that exists is the one you've built for yourself. And most of you are serving a life sentence, all because you're too afraid to challenge the thoughts that keep you locked inside. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to accept this. You don't have to be another statistic, another forgotten name, another person who lived and died without ever realizing their full potential. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Breaking free is going to take everything you've got. You're going to have to kill the old version of yourself, the weak version, the one who makes excuses, who waits for permission, who hesitates. That person has to die. This is war. A war against doubt, against fear, against every little voice in your head that tells you to play it safe. And if you're not ready to go to battle, if you're not ready to fight for your future like your life depends on it, then leave now. Because this speech isn't for the weak. This is for the warriors, the ones who are ready to tear down the barriers in their own mind and claim what's theirs. So sit up, shut up, and listen, because I'm about to give you the 7 keys that will help you break free from the prison of your mind. If you take these seriously, if you apply them relentlessly, your entire life will change. But if you ignore them, if you make excuses, then you might as well quit now. Let's get started. Your mind is wired to keep you weak. Your brain's #1 job is not to make you successful. It's not to make you happy. It's to keep you alive. And because of that, it's built to keep you safe, which means it's built to make you weak. Every time you think about taking a risk, every time you consider stepping outside your comfort zone, your brain screams, "Danger! Stop! Retreat!" And most of you listen to it like obedient little children. That voice in your head, the one telling you to be careful, to wait for the perfect time, to make sure everything is just right before you take action, that voice is your greatest enemy. It's the reason you're stuck. It's the reason you hesitate. And it's the reason you will never achieve anything great unless you learn to shut it down. You see, the people who dominate in this world aren't the ones who feel less fear. They're the ones who act despite it. Most of you are slaves to your emotions. You only take action when you feel like it, and that's why you're going nowhere. Your mind will always find reasons why now isn't the right time. There will always be another excuse. But the truth is, action comes first, feelings follow. If you wait to feel ready, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. Look at the most successful people in history. Do you think they waited for permission? Do you think they waited for the fear to go away before they made their move? No. They declared war on their own doubts and acted anyway. They understood that the mind is nothing but an obstacle to be overcome. They took control of it instead of letting it control them. If you want to break free from mediocrity, you have to start thinking like them. You have to realize that your mind is not on your side. It wants comfort, but success requires discomfort. It wants safety, but greatness requires risk. And until you understand this, until you reprogram your thinking, you will always be a prisoner of your own weak mind. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep listening to the voice in your head that keeps you small? Or are you going to take control, override your programming, and do whatever it takes to win? The choice is yours. Comfort is a slow death. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. You think comfort is a reward, but it's a prison. Every single time you choose the easy path, you are signing your own death warrant. The most successful people in the world don't chase comfort, they chase results. But most of you, you're addicted to comfort. You wake up in your warm bed, scroll through your phone, eat your comfortable meals, and live a life that demands nothing from you. And that's why you have nothing. When you stay in your comfort zone, you stop growing. Your mind convinces you that you're fine where you are. It tells you that taking risks is too dangerous, that pushing yourself too hard isn't worth it. And you believe it because it feels good. But let me tell you something. Comfort is a slow death. It kills your ambition. It rots your potential. It makes you soft, weak, and useless. Look at the titans of industry, the great leaders, the people who changed the world. Do you think they prioritize comfort? Do you think they wake up in the morning and ask themselves how they can make the day easier? Hell no. They chase discomfort. They understand that every time they push past their limits, they expand what's possible. They don't wait until they feel like it. They take action regardless of how they feel. The problem is most of you are terrified of discomfort. The second things get hard, you quit. You hit one obstacle and you fold like a cheap suit. You've trained yourself to believe that struggle is bad, that pain means stop. But pain is growth. Discomfort is the path to power. And if you don't learn to embrace it, you will never achieve anything worth talking about. You have to reprogram your mind to crave discomfort. You have to wake up every morning and ask yourself, how can I make today harder? How can I push myself further? Because if you're not getting uncomfortable, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So make a decision. Are you going to keep chasing comfort like the rest of the sheep? Or are you going to lean into discomfort, push past your limits, and build the kind of life that most people only dream of? The choice is yours. Fear is a liar. Fear is the biggest scam in history. It's a lie your brain tells you to keep you small. It whispers in your ear, making every problem seem bigger than it is, making every risk feel like life or death. But let me tell you the truth. Fear is nothing but a paper tiger. It looks scary, it feels overwhelming, but the second you run toward it, you realize it has no power over you. Most of you are living your entire lives in fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking stupid. And because of that fear, you do nothing. You sit on your ass, paralyzed, watching as life passes you by. But here's the secret. Fear only controls you if you let it. Fear is like a bully. The more you give into it, the more power it has over you. But the second you step up and punch it in the mouth, it backs down. Think about it. How many times in your life have you been terrified to do something only to realize later that it wasn't a big deal? How many opportunities have you missed because you let fear talk you out of taking action? Fear is a thief. It steals your potential, your opportunities, and your future. and most of you let it win without even putting up a fight. Successful people are not fearless. They just don't let fear stop them. They feel the fear and take action anyway. They understand that fear is a signal, not a stop sign. Every time they feel fear, they know they're on the right track, because fear only shows up when something important is at stake. Instead of running from it, they lean into it. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep letting fear dictate your choices? Are you going to let it keep you weak, stuck, and full of regret? Or are you going to stand up, look fear in the face, and do what needs to be done, no matter how scared you feel? The decision is yours. You must kill the old version of yourself. The biggest thing standing between you and the life you want is the person you are right now, that version of you, the one full of excuses, the one who hesitates, the one who listens to fear. That version has to die. You cannot become the best version of yourself while still holding on to the weak, undisciplined, small-minded version that has been running your life up until now. This is where most people fail. They try to change while still clinging to their old identity. They want success, but they refuse to let go of the habits, the beliefs, and the mindset that have been keeping them stuck. It doesn't work like that. You can't drag the old version of yourself into the future you want. That person has to be destroyed. Think about who you would need to become to achieve your biggest goals. What kind of discipline would you need? What kind of mindset? What kind of daily habits? Now ask yourself, does the person you are today match that version of you? If not, you have two choices: change or stay exactly where you are. The truth is, most of you are too emotionally attached to your old self. You cling to your past failures, your old stories, your excuses. You tell yourself, that's just who I am. But that's a lie. Who you are is a choice. You can decide right now to drop the old version of yourself and build something stronger in its place. But it's not going to be easy. Killing your old self means doing things you've never done before. It means breaking habits that feel comfortable. It means stepping into the unknown and becoming someone new. And that's terrifying for most people. That's why so few ever do it. So the question is, are you willing to let the old you die? Are you willing to bury your excuses, your fears, your bad habits, and rebuild yourself into a person capable of winning? If not, then stop wasting your time. But if you are, then congratulations. You're on the path to greatness. Your excuses are your coffin. Excuses are the #1 reason why most people live and die without ever achieving anything meaningful. Every single excuse you make is just another nail in the coffin of your potential. And yet most of you spend more time justifying your failures than actually fixing them. You blame the economy, your upbringing, your lack of time, your lack of money. But let me tell you the cold, hard truth. Nobody cares about your excuses, and neither does life. Successful people don't have fewer problems than you. They don't have fewer challenges, fewer obstacles, or better luck. They just don't waste time complaining. They don't sit around feeling sorry for themselves. They take responsibility for their situation and do something about it. The moment you start making excuses is the moment you surrender control over your life. And when you give up control, you give up your future. The worst part, your excuses are lies. They feel real, but they're nothing more than mental garbage. You tell yourself you don't have time, but you waste hours every day scrolling on your phone. You tell yourself you don't have money, but you spend it on useless things that don't move you forward. You tell yourself you don't have the right connections, but you've never even tried reaching out to anyone. The problem is you, not your circumstances. Most people live their entire lives as victims. They point fingers, they look for someone or something to blame. But every time you make an excuse, you reinforce a mindset of weakness. And a weak mind leads to a weak life. Excuses are like a drug. They give you temporary relief from responsibility, but in the end, they destroy you. If you want to be successful, you need to go cold turkey. No more excuses, ever. You either find a way or you find an excuse. That's it. There's no middle ground. The people who win in life don't have magical advantages. They just refuse to accept excuses. They find a way to make it happen no matter what. They understand that nobody is coming to save them, and if they want something, they have to take it. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep lying to yourself, keep playing the victim, keep digging your own grave with excuses, or are you going to wake up, own your situation, and take responsibility for your future? Because the only difference between you and the people you admire is this: they refuse to let excuses define them. Pain is the currency of greatness. If you want to be successful, you need to understand one thing. Pain is the price you must pay. Every single person who has ever built something great has suffered for it. They have bled for it. They have sacrificed for it. But most of you, you run from pain. You avoid struggle. You want the rewards without the suffering. And that's why you have nothing. The truth is, pain is the ultimate test. It separates the weak from the strong, the pretenders from the contenders. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to endure the suffering required to achieve it. The gym hurts, so you skip it. Waking up early is hard, so you sleep in. Building a business is stressful, so you stay at your dead-end job. And then you wonder why your life never changes. Pain is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally. Pain is the price of greatness, and every moment of suffering is an investment in your future. The more pain you endure, the stronger you become. The more discomfort you embrace, the more powerful you get. Every struggle, every failure, every setback, it's all fuel, but only if you use it. Most people let pain break them. Winners let it forge them. The people at the top didn't get there because it was easy. They got there because they were willing to suffer more than everyone else. They were willing to work harder, to push through rejection, to outlast the competition. They sacrificed their comfort, their time, and their energy to build something that mattered. If you want to be unstoppable, you need to change your relationship with pain. You need to stop avoiding it and start seeking it. You need to wake up every day and embrace the struggle, because the more pain you endure now, the greater your rewards will be later. So, are you ready to pay the price? Are you willing to suffer, to bleed, to sacrifice for what you say you want? Or are you going to keep running from pain like the weak, pathetic version of yourself that you claim to hate? Because the truth is, your pain tolerance will determine your level of success. Period. Ladies and gentlemen, I've given you the truth, raw and unfiltered. Your mind is the enemy, and until you take control of it, it will continue to rob you of the life you could have had. This isn't a game. This is war. And the battlefield is in your own head. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. The people who win are the ones who control their mind, destroy their excuses, take ruthless action, and embrace pain. The losers, they sit around making excuses, avoiding discomfort, and wondering why their life never changes. So the question is, which one are you? Are you going to let your weak mind keep you small, or are you going to declare war on your limitations and take what's yours? The choice is yours. But remember this, nobody is coming to save you. It's all on you. Now go out there and fight for your future.